Madrid. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. It's been a while. I repeat, it's been a while. We have been starving for something good. You know, it wasn't all that great tonight. Today, if I'm not mistaken, early kickoff. Usually it doesn't bode well for us. Doesn't bode well for most of the big teams. I still have flashbacks of that Mallorca loss. Away at the Balearic Islands. But tonight was, I mean, today was a far better outing. We showed character, we showed fight, we kind of stayed through the tough times during the game and kind of drifted away in the second half, but had the cherry on the topping finish by Asensio, and what a run by
Recording in
Nacho.
progress.
But let's get into it. I think Doris just turned on the recording right now. It's all good. But yeah, go for it. That's all good.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So I just gave you a little rundown of what happened, and I don't know. Even though we won and had these 3 points, I feel like most of us will feel a bit disappointed with the way we played. But all in all, we did get the 3 points, but the showing of our players was not, incredible as we expect them always, and it just feels like our standards have shifted a little bit. Said, what do you
Yeah,
say?
absolutely. That's the key word. The standards have been getting shifted, or rather shafted, for large parts during the second phase of the season. Um, but, like, if we are coming on this post-match reviewing a won and loss, would you say the same?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I guess it always depends on the result. I mean, it is football, and we do play for the result. So as long as we won, that's what matters. And lately, we haven't been scoring that much, even though we scored five against Liverpool. Still, we do have some problems in our attacking, but it seemed like Vinicius was feeling it today, and he really gave his all today. But yeah, I would say today wasn't like the worst showing, especially when you scored 3 goals. You cannot say that you played badly. And they didn't play badly. And the goal that happened, we're gonna talk about it. It did come from two individual mistakes. But all in all, we cannot be that disappointed with the way we played. But I guess, like I said, our standards are shifting a little bit, and we really did miss Karim, and it showed today. And I guess a lot of us just expected a different lineup, and maybe playing Alaro. That didn't happen. He did play later, but I think we all had different expectations from this game, I would say.
This was kind of the perfect setting for Alvaro, but we discussed this earlier. Such a young kid having basically next to no top flight experience, like Espanyol are not a shabby side, which we eventually found out in under less than 4 minutes. It wasn't pretty, um, but throwing someone who is 18 into the thick of things against an Espanyol side who is unlike your Elches, or like the teams who actually struggle kind of towards the bottom half of La Liga to score. Um, Espanyol are a side who has enough goal scorers in them, who has enough goals in them. So um, if we actually lost the game due to what we have been watching on for the last couple of weeks or so, it would have all been Alvaro's fault. So the management would be definitely cautious in throwing him around, starting for the game, which I totally understand. But things look different in the second half, and I wished Alvaro had a good 30-35 minutes, man. But it is a tall order against Carlo. Farouk would be laughing again. Um, but I'm telling you, when we have the let's say the platform, or let's say some leeway, Alvaro is definitely going to get minutes. Espanyol wasn't a team that should have been taken lightly, and we moved in that manner. That I completely understand. We can all sit here and be wishful about the young kid's chances, who has looked very bright, who is in my opinion one of the brightest prospects who have come out from the academy in the last decade or so. His time will surely come, man. The season is long. We still are in all competitions, we're still alive and kicking in all competitions. So Alvaro definitely has a huge role to play. Just wasn't the case tonight. But let's get into how we started the game so terribly, man. Like, even before we conceded the goal, there were signs. Braithwaite's shot was saved by Thibaut. We were being unnecessarily wasteful in possession. Modric, Cruz, Chouameni, all looking uh, a shadow of themselves. Honestly, like, they played with no confidence for the first 15 minutes. Like, they looked like a League One side, which is a constant criticism that I've bestowed upon our team this season under Carlo. It's not a new thing. Even if you remember, going back to the Champions League win last year, or the brilliant La Liga run. When I was watching the documentary, which was released like a couple of days ago, brilliant documentary again. I sort of kind of got reminded of how many games we scraped it out last year, and how many games we kind of were second favorites for large parts, and then one moment of brilliance kind of saved us. This has always been a case, man. But like how last season finished off, kind of uh, put this all in the background and kind of made us forget that like we faced so many incredibly difficult moments in the season, but we overcame them. And yeah, man. So this recurring theme of Carlos team starting slow, it wasn't a new thing. But I was baffled. I was like, oh my god, perfect Saturday morning news to go behind so early. Talk to me, Doris. The goal. Kamavinga caught on the wrong side. Didn't read the flight of the ball. Chouameni dilly-dallying in possession, loses the ball, which some argued was a foul, but I've seen worse stuff, man. Honestly, it was a 50-50 challenge. Yes, we could have felt bereaved, but like that's the loss of possession, and we paid for it on the counter. And what a finish by Joselu, man! Like, 8 goals in 10 games against us. This man is a beast. Like, he doesn't mess around.
Yeah,
Anytime I see him, he scores. As simple
Joselo
as that.
obviously, for many reasons, loves scoring against us, which is funny and kind of ironic. But what I would say, like what you said before, there have been many matches, especially this season, but even last season, and I pretty much remember all of them, where we got scored on in the first 15 minutes. Like, that is not like the first time this has happened,
Yeah.
especially this season. It feels like most of our matches we went down 1-0 in the first few minutes. It's actually kind of crazy how many goals were scored like in the first 5 or 6 minutes. And that is definitely that our team has to work on, because from what we've seen from last season, most of the teams have figured us out. They know the way we play, they know what we want and how we start our games, what we do. And it honestly feels like teams know this now. Just get them in the first few minutes and hold the result, right? And I feel like that is obviously a strategy right now that managers and teams are using against us. But for the goal that you were saying, Kamavinga, yeah, obviously he didn't calculate where the flight of the ball would go, and that is, an inexperienced player's mistake, right? Especially in that side of the pitch where you will be receiving a lot of balls like that, and mostly defending them to go out, or do anything that it doesn't go past you. It's something that you don't know, that you don't do in the midfield. You a lot of the times you have to think what you're gonna do in those areas where for a fullback most of those times you're just trying to shoot it out, and it is unfortunate that he miscalculated that. But I would also like to mention Militao there. He was running for his man, and that is something that we've seen from Militao so many times. Mostly him relying on his speed, and it caught him today, because a lot of the times fullbacks are not gonna stop every cross. Like, we cannot blame Kamavinga that he didn't stop the cross. We can blame him that he didn't get the aerial and all the things before the player crossed. And for that cross, I really have to blame Militao, because that is a mistake that he does a lot. And most of the time he gets the ball, but this is one of those times where he really needs to think about if his speed is really his biggest asset in those situations. Sometimes it's just better to be positioned right, I guess. And
the thing is, have you noticed this, Doris? Like, we have all been watching football for long enough to know that the quicker players, they have an arrogance.
Yeah.
Right. I used to be fast during my playing days, and I used to have an arrogance that I can beat a man, or I can catch up to a man, or I can save a run. Like, so I think Militao has the similar.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
I see where you're going with this. I agree with you, and that is something that we've seen last season, and especially this season. And we always praise him for being so fast and basically saving us so many times with his speed. But I'm telling you, like, sometimes it's just not the best thing to do in every situation, and especially if you cannot, expect Nacho to be as fast as you, even though Nacho is deceptively fast. But yeah, that's pretty much all. And the goal in itself was really a really, really good goal. Like, you cannot take
first time finish.
anything from
most
Espanyol,
guys.
yeah.
Most guys would take a touch. Joselu
It was a really good goal.
was so perfect with his technique. Like,
Yeah.
first time top corner, Thibaut just was a
He
a
couldn't do
bystander. Like,
anything about it. Yeah. There was
Yeah.
nothing he could have done about that.
that was a ball from the blue. I think that was something that lit a fire underneath us, because in many ways, after full time, after I saw especially the second half, which was a bore fest, which was a snooze fest, which didn't look anything like the last 30 minutes of our first half, where like we looked lazy, we looked laboring, we didn't have the cutting edge. After that, I think honestly, like, after watching that second half, I think if not for Espanyol scoring first, like, we would have seen maybe a 0-0 draw, or maybe a 1-1 draw, where like we have to like salvage a point maybe at the death, like the 89th or 90th minute. So in many ways, I'm thankful, for Espanyol actually giving us like a proper wake up alarm, so that like we kick back into our senses. Like I said earlier, the first 15 minutes was shambolic. Kamavinga was giving the ball away left, right, and center. Like, he looked out of sorts. Vinicius was doing Vinny things. But for me, like, I've been a huge critic of the way Vinny has been approaching, the opponents last couple of weeks, last month, let's say. barring a few spectacular performances. Like usually, Vinicius is the man. The reason why we get frustrated, the reason why we lament so much about his maturity on the pitch is because he is the big man this season. Last season it was Benzema, where Vinicius was second fiddle. This season, surely, up until now, Vinicius is top dog at the Bernabeu, and we expect such great things of him, right? Like that is why it is kind of frustrating when you see that. Everybody gets into his head, or the way a game is evolving kind of frustrates him. But tonight, after getting that yellow card, I think it was after the equalizer, if I'm not mistaken. He
Yeah.
got the yellow card for that tactical foul. Let's call it a tactical foul. It wasn't rash. It was just Espanyol in transition, and he just tried to
It
nick the
wasn't a
ball off him.
yellow. It definitely
Yeah, it wasn't a yellow.
wasn't a yellow. It was really soft, and he did actually get the ball. And you can, obviously call it a foul, but a yellow for that, never, never. And this is not even us being biased. Like even the commentators on my TV were saying that wasn't a yellow, and it really it can really cost us one day, and it definitely will, because this is his eighth yellow this season for a forward, and he's obviously, as we all know, he is being marked all the time. Everyone is on him, but
Yeah.
this kind of things cannot happen, because as we all know, Vinicius is probably gonna get a yellow for talking or doing something like this, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just sucks when this happens. Like he obviously didn't deserve it, and it can cost us one day. Like our strategy and all that, because
The refereeing,
yeah,
the refereeing definitely doesn't help.
and if
I'll tell you that.
anything, this would be the worst time for him to get a second yellow, given that we're playing Barcelona
That's
next.
why. That's why. Like right after when he was awarded the yellow, the telecast didn't show it right after. Like after a while, they showed Cruz actually talking into Vinicius' ear.
Yes,
Basically, like what. I hope you have seen that as well, right?
yeah,
Like,
I saw that.
like from what I can read, it might have been something like like just calm it down, like just pace it down. Just face the situation that you're on a yellow. Let's not aggravate the situation, and kind of manage the game. And I think that yellow perfectly helped Vinicius, because he was much more composed, much more calm. After that incident. For me, Doris, the thing that I expect from Vinicius is days like this, when things don't go your way, when there are forces acting against you. Like the only thing you can do is to maintain composure. If you lose composure in any aspect of life, let alone in football, like it's a long day. Composure is your bread and milk, is your bread and butter. Let me put it that way. It should be the most basic aspect to your game. Without composure, you lose all of your skill sets. Bang on. Um, but I'm telling you, what I expect from Vinicius is, like, when people kind of look back on great players like Zidane, they add a footnote, right? Obviously, Zidane was a myth. The way he kind of controlled the ball, the way he kind of manages a pass when you don't see a pass. People say all that, and then as a footnote, they say, you know what? Unlike many great players, Zidane was a menace. Zidane was a nasty player. Zidane knew when to get stuck in. Zidane knew if someone was to mess with him, he would leave a mark on him. The amount of times, like there have been huge incidents where Zidane was red carded. Like we all know the infamous headbutt, like so many times with Juve. He wasn't that rash with us, if I'm not mistaken, but with Juve being like 3-4 years younger, he was as much as, a widely hated antagonist, a villain for opposing teams, just like with Vinicius. Although they played completely different games, different parts of the pitch, and whatnot, different background, all of that. But I'm telling you, Vinicius need to channel that side of the spectrum instead of being the guy being labeled as whingy like Bruno Fernandes. There's two sides of the spectrum: Bruno
Yeah.
Fernandes, Zinedine Zidane, right? So I would like for him to fall into the Zinedine Zidane category. Like I'm not. I'm like whenever I have been mourning about Vinicius's temperament, I wasn't asking him to completely ignore the racist slurs, completely ignore the constant attempts of opposing players to hack him down. Just to acknowledge that and serve it in a way the refs don't catch it, the VAR doesn't get involved. Like there is a way to going about your dark arts. He should probably call up Sergio Ramos, man. Like he'll be on speed dial, I'm pretty sure, on Vinicius' phone. Like that's what I expect. Is it fair, Doris, to expect something of that nature from Vinny? Because that's what I saw today.
I mean, that isn't like his. It isn't about him and his technique and his skill, and that's not something we can help him with. This is all based on his personality, right? And that
Yeah.
is something that he needs to work on in his personal life and with his coaches and the staff. Like you cannot react that way. Like kids don't react that way on the football field. And from Vinicius, I don't think it is too big to expect from him to behave. And thankfully, we have someone like Tony to talk to him during the game, but he shouldn't be in that situation. And
Yeah.
today, I wouldn't say that he was even that angry or anything like he
Yeah.
usually is. Like he was calm for himself, for what he usually is. And if anything, today was an improvement of that. And if he didn't get the yellow, we would probably be saying that he was finally really, really, calm and collected. And you talked about composure, right? It's not just about him, after he gets fouled or yellowed or whatever. It is something that has to do with his game also, like his composure uh, is sometimes when he gets in the final third, he always wants to do incredible things and magic and dribble and do all that. And he, like we all know, is inviting fouls with that. And if your style of play is doing that and tricking players and all that, that's fine. That is completely fine. But we saw what happened to Neymar, what happened to Eden, that is still playing with us. Injuries happen. Players are gonna get angry. You're gonna get angry. You're gonna get fouled. A lot of things are gonna happen. He is really, really young now. But imagine 10 years from now of him being fouled this way all the time and him actually drawing those fouls. He wants to get fouled. So it is something that he will have to think about because it's actually not even good for his health. And we all saw that the way players are marking him and always on him and all that. Like this can only bring bad things for him. And acting this way is only speeding up the process to get to those injuries. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
saw really, really, really bad ones that happened to players that play like him, players that take on players, that dribble and all that. One is still playing for us, playing, you know.
Absolutely agree. That's something I have really, really, dark dreams about, not nightmares about. Like basically you're the way Vinicius, or the way Neymar, those kind of guys, they play, they kind of taunt opponents, and it's not gonna end up well. We gotta remember that so many of these defenders were aspiring attackers back in the day in the youth teams, right?
Yeah.
So they have seen it all. They have done it all. So they are basically doing doing something for the sake of their team, their career. They're basically uh, molding themselves to be a defender.
Yeah.
So it is even more of a frustrating thing from a defender's perspective. Like in order to deal with someone like Vinny, it's not gonna be easy. So tempers are gonna flare, and stuff like what you just mentioned might happen. And yeah, man, Vinicius, like, just be yourself. Like today, yeah, you need to have that bite. You need to have that that will and persona. Like it goes a long way in, like, in intimidating and kind of making our presence felt and whatnot. But just like today, it'll be perfectly fine. Let's just get into some of the comments. Or like over 15 of you in the chat. Don't forget to smash the like if you're new, and also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell on, people. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. Trust me. Sanel, nice to see you again, man. He says in the comments, good enough performance by the boys. Mid lacked dynamism. Agree. For large parts, the midfield, man, it is getting worrying day by day. And let's be honest, like, we had days like this even like early parts of last year as well, and we were all calling out. We were all calling for heads, but the way kind of the team rode out the latter, the crunch part of the, of the season was quite extraordinary. So I'll just say that the jury is still out. We really can't press home the fact that the midfield is finished, but it's worrying signs. Chouameni is back. I'm happy to see him fit and firing again. We just need a little more cohesion, which I hopefully will be able to see against Liverpool on Wednesday night. It'll go a long way, man. I'm telling you, midfield goes a long way. Uh, like, for our chances to win a trophy this season. If our midfield balls out, we are in with a shout. Just like last year. If our midfield keeps things ticking neat and tidy, we have a real chance. He also says we need bailing out the team again. Cruz is playing too deep, which is hurting Chouameni. Better use of the fullbacks too, which was pleasant. Yeah, man. Carvajal was really good. Carvajal was
Unnecessary
was reminiscent.
yellow at the end, but yeah, it was really
Yeah,
good. And I agree with you on the last part. The fullbacks, it was so refreshing to have attacking fullbacks. As much as Camavinga maybe lacks in the defense, it was so nice actually having someone up front. It's not something that we usually expect from Ferland Mendy, you know.
yeah,
His attacking ability is obviously not his greatest skill, right? But Camavinga was actually really good, and it gives us an extra player in the box, which Mendy rarely does, and when he does, it's not for the same reasons that Camavinga would usually do. And it was something interesting that the commentators said today. It had to do
yeah.
with Vinicius' goal. Camavinga made a mistake there, which led more players towards Vini, and Vinicius actually used that to go through them and score the goal. So his mistake actually turned out to be really good for us, you know. So it actually worked out well, and all in all, his game was, I would say, pretty good for him not playing his natural position, obviously. And Carvajal, we see those glimpses of him, of his old self, and especially when he receives those volleys. You know, we remember a few of those, and maybe some important one that he
Yeah.
scored with the volley. But all in all, it is reminiscent of how many of those he actually missed. And it was actually kind of nice to see him, at least trying, And he was in a good position there. And I don't remember, I think it was Camavinga's cross that got him that ball. I'm not sure. Or Vinicius, I'm not sure.
Dani Carvajal, let me tell you something. Tonight was kind of a throwback to why we rate Carvajal so highly, and why, um, despite all of his deficiencies, I still stand by his side and think that the club is not going to be in for a major right back overhaul in the summer, is because this guy is super experienced, super well versed for the big occasion, has bite, has technique, uh, um, doesn't have the pace or the acceleration he used to, 5 years when he was 5 years younger, but he still can do a lot, man. Which was clearly on show tonight. When people criticize, including me, yeah, like when we have bad games, the post matches after bad games isn't a pretty sight, and we often kind of go beyond rational explanation as to why our players aren't performing. It's purely because we feel for the club and we feel for all these players who have given us so much joy over the past decade or so. But the thing about Carvajal is that when you actually look at it in plain sight, Carvajal has to do the carry job down the right. Let's be honest, Fede can't do the out and out winger role, provide the width constantly. Yes, he can do it a couple of times, but what does Fede excel at? It's runs from deep in between the centre back and the wing back is where Fede Valverde excels. He is kind of um, let's just call it, he's kind of the rocket missile, the last resort from midfield, where he kind of makes very timely runs to help us create overloads. But Carvajal on the other side is the guy who is equipped with the sole purpose of providing us with width, and also put in exceptional crosses whenever he can. Uh, so when we don't have a clear out and out right winger, our right hand side is gonna be dependent on Carvajal being that guy who does it all, basically. And let's not get it twisted. Carvajal is a very technically gifted footballer, but it's only so much he can do, right? Like it's not entirely Carvajal's fault that we have had games where Carvajal kind of looks out of sorts. It is a team thing, man. Like if one position is kind of weary, it bleeds throughout the team. It's not just the right hand side. Like it is a culmination of all of that deficiencies in our setup in 22-23, unfortunately. But Carvajal, in my opinion, had a very good game. Kamavinga was okay. Like you can clearly see that he's not a natural wing back. Like he can't really defend much. But like you said, like he combines well with Vinicius. And the good news is that Mendy is back. Mendy is gonna start start on Wednesday.
One thing that we usually, at least in the last 1.5 season, we are always criticizing Danny for his games. He doesn't play amazing every game, and if we look at it, the things that he is supposed to do when he releases the ball are not really the same things that he did, in 2017, 18, and when we had Bale, Cristiano, and Karim in the box. There was 3 players that were really good with crosses. Right now it's just Karim.
If it's
Maybe not even
stages,
him.
If it is the latter stages, add Pepe, Varane, Ramos, all of that. Casemiro.
Yeah.
So you see like six,
So
seven,
many
8
players.
guys.
Yeah. Right now it's no one. It's basically no one. So we don't even have the best ways to use Dani anymore. But what helps him, at least when he does make those runs, which he always does, is having Militao, a really, really, really fast defender behind him that can cover for him. So that is a positive thing that we have in our team.
Militao and Fede, both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, that is a positive thing, at least that we have for Dani. But we cannot expect him, to make those crosses and assists with the same efficiency that he did before. He can make those crosses, but no one will be at the end of them. So a lot of the times he ends up playing the ball on the floor and stuff like that. It's just not something that is the best thing for Dani. But still, he is a top player, and he still has a few years in him. But his injuries,
And let's be honest. Apart from his obvious lack of pace, people call Trent the next Cafu. The way Carvajal defends, bro. The way Carvajal has defended on so many occasions.
I think Sanai just froze. So
I'm telling you, he's as complete as a fullback can get. His arsenal of threats are very very lethal. Like it's not a shock that Carvajal, despite his very very poor injury record, has remained starting right back for the biggest club in the world for what now it's gonna be 10 years next year. So it's not an easy feat.
definitely.
But like what Farouk said during the preview, and like what many of us think, fullbacks goes a long way in us performing. Modern football, man, it requires our fullbacks to be at their optimal best, and which we haven't seen for large parts this season. Mendy has had many hiccups here and there, but them coming back, and hopefully the last bit is Alaba, which I don't think he's gonna make Liverpool, but hopefully at least the second leg in the Copa del Rey, if he makes it, we'll have the double winning defense back in action, and I'm guaranteeing you, like, we're gonna see a much better defensive outing from there. And now it's all makeshift. So we're gonna have days like this when it's not quite so perfect. But let's just get into some of the comments. Ashik is back. Nice to see you again, man. He says 8 a.m. EST kickoff, human rights violation, but they won, so all good. Yeah, man, absolutely. I had to wake up on a Saturday at 7, which is never easy. I just wanted to stay in bed, but man, can't miss a game. It's just a way of life at this moment. He also goes on to say Vini needs to play calm, stay focused, and look at the bigger picture. The boy is special, but gotta grow up fast. Yes, with us, you seldom have time to bed in, mature up, and whatnot. We all still remember the crazy takes many of us had, during his initial years, where he was very very frustrating to watch. But he has come a long way. Rahul is back in the chat. Good to see you again, bro. But
Hello, Rahul.
hopefully Atleti doesn't make top 4. Hopefully Atleti doesn't make top 4. That's gonna be a good end to the season. Also, Lolo is back in the chat. Good to see you again, man. He says we only play good when Vinny and Cruz play good. Cruz, did he actually play that well? Yes, he kind of put Vinny through for the assist, but it's a long shot if you can call that an assist. But he had some good moments here and there, but was he really on point? Was he vintage Cruz? Far from it, in my opinion. Though, man.
Yeah,
How is he looking? For me, he has been making me worried, like for the he hasn't been up for it.
I agree with you. I mean,
What do you
it's not
think?
his best season. Even the last one, we wouldn't say that it was his best season. But Cruz was doing his own thing, and I think someone said before, the way we play Cruz right now, it is not really helping Chouameni, because both of them are playing really deep, and Tony is not playing the same way he used to play. Like his game is just not the same. The things that he does are not the same, right? And I agree with someone that said that, and I would say that that is a pretty good way to describe this
And why
game,
is
but
he?
not that extreme.
Why is he? The question is the main question is why is he taking every single fucking free kick? I don't understand. Is he
I don't know
constantly
that. I have no
being
idea.
handed free kick duties? Like it's been a long time since Cruz actually buried one, like so I would
Yep.
suppose, all the fantastic training videos that we see put up on a YouTube the Real Madrid YouTube channel just to show for something on the pitch, man. Like someone else sometimes
Exactly.
takes it. Alaba is a much better free kick taker, but he has been unfortunately injured for a large part this season. But yeah, man, like
Even
someone
with
else should be
Alaba,
taking it. You saw it when Rodrigo took it.
yeah, even with Alaba, we've seen Cruz many times take it on Alaba's side on the right side, mostly to cross those balls. And like we all know, our set pieces are not that good. Let's be honest. We have to be realistic there. Like our set pieces are, up not up to par with some other teams that really take advantage of every set piece that they have. But from Tony, I don't think it's crazy to expect from him to do better with the free kicks. For if you're gonna think of any player for accuracy and stuff like that, you're gonna think of Cruz, and it's just really weird and I think ironic how bad he is at free kicks. And I feel like we're not even allowed to say it out loud because people are always gonna attack you if you say even one bad thing about him or his accuracy or something. But I don't think it's crazy to expect from him to do better. I mean, so many times even this season we saw Cruz bang it straight into the wall. That's crazy to say, and excuse my language, but that's amateur. And to say that to Cruz, I don't know, man.
We haven't had a very good free kick taker for years.
No,
For years. That's why whenever free kick,
even with
everybody's
the
surprised, everybody's raving about the goal because we don't expect it.
yeah, even with Cristiano, a lot of people were saying that he's not even that good at free kicks, which you can, interpret your own way. But I agree with you. Our
Yeah.
free kicks are not really our strongest.
Cristiano was good when he actually came into Madrid. He was still
It
very lethal
depends who you
on free
ask.
kicks.
We're gonna say that he was good. He was amazing. He scored so many free kicks that we all remember, even
Well,
through players
obviously
and
he
all
wouldn't
that.
be
Yeah.
Juninho. He wouldn't be prime Juninho at free kicks, but Cristiano was not shabby.
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. Yeah.
I don't know how much you have watched Mourinho's season. Cristiano was still scoring bangers. I'm being honest. People don't give him enough credit, because the recency bias kicks in, and Cristiano hasn't been good from set pieces like post. Let's just say like 2014, 2015 maybe. But up until then, he was pretty lethal. Like, obviously, he's not going to score every game, every free kick, but he was far, far more consistent than what people blame him for
Exactly.
today.
Yeah.
Mm,
And Rodrigo, I think, can really take his place there. His placement is really good, and we've seen his finishes so far. And he did take a few free kicks. He didn't score, but he is showing promise there. And Rodrigo really seems one of those players that would be good for those. And I'm not gonna say Vinicius, but I did see him score one really, really, really good free kick when he was younger.
yeah. Was it against Bayern or something in the preseason friendly, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think so.
2019,
He was wearing
something. Yeah, it
black. That's
was.
what I remember. If that was the kid, I
Yeah, it was a
remember.
long time ago,
Yeah.
2019-20 season. Um, but yeah, man, since you're on Rodrigo, your thoughts on Rodrigo tonight? For me, he was very bright. Always was a
Yeah.
bright spark for us, either through the middle or down the right. Um, he very rarely has a below seven performance, right, Doris?
Yeah,
There is something
very
about the kid.
rarely. And what we see from Rodrigo is mostly his control. That kid is amazing. The ball is always under his feet. He doesn't let go of the ball. And there were like a few instances today where he did lose the ball, and it happens. But that kid is just amazing. And we didn't play with a 9 today, and it actually kind of helped us in a way. And what I would say about that is not having a 9, the defenders and usually the players don't know who to mark. Because you know, if you have Karim, you mark him and Vinicius. But when uh, Rodrigo Goes is running all around, like who do you mark? And maybe you had a strategy to man mark, and you just have to switch to zonal marking or the other way around. But it is actually that something that actually kind of helps us in the game. And Rodrigo, as we all know, he's much better playing as a 10 or as a second striker or something like that. But in games like this, it obviously worked out. So it was actually nice for Rodrigo. I mean, we all expect him to score, and he did have one really good shot at the goal that was saved by the goalkeeper. But for him,
There
like,
was another shot which just dipped
yeah, the long shot,
below the
right?
crossbar,
Yeah,
above the crossbar.
yeah, about it, yeah.
My bad.
But yeah, he very rarely has bad games. Very rarely.
Rodrigo, you know what I kind of noted from this game, and which has been a redeeming quality of Rodrigo, even during his very bad phases, is the way he kind of forces errors from opposing defenses. Like he kind of, like the guy, his name is Cabrera,
Yep.
very good defender, former academy product. He was a centre back, right? Who was kind of playing makeshift left back,
Fullback,
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken, for Espanyol, and he immediately kind of forced him to, kind of come out wide and kind of try and nick the ball off him.
And
He
so
was
early in the game, which was even
yeah.
better. I think it was in the like 18th or 19th minute, which was
Straight away he's booked, so there's pressure.
Yeah.
Like now he has to think about every step he makes. So Rodrigo kind of, just like Vinny, kind of forces people to second guess what he's gonna do next. But more
each,
than Vinny, what
each in their own way, though. Each in their own way.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't prefer the way Vinny does it. I prefer the way Rodrigo does it, because Vinicius is sometimes, he doesn't have the clarity that Rodrigo has when going into some sort of an action. That's just my personal opinion. It just might come down to personal preference or taste. But for me, when I watch Rodrigo, he has a very incisive, clear objective of what he's gonna do. But Vinicius, it's sometimes he has to plan it.
It's
way
also
ahead.
with the way they
Yeah.
run with the ball, which is completely different, like polar opposites of each other, Vinicius and Rodrigo. It's the fact that Rodrigo runs with the ball under his feet, so
Yeah.
the players have to go through his feet to get to the ball. And Vinicius is the kind of player that
Very good point.
kicks the ball and then runs after it. And the fouls that he usually gets from other players are the elbows
are-
and trying to be faster than him.
Are like if you further break it down, Vinicius's interpretation of space is basically knock-ons, right?
Yeah.
Rodrigo, like you said, is ball to feet, close control,
Yeah.
dribbling
And it's actually
neatly in
polar
tight spaces.
opposites of each other, And Vinicius could really learn from that. And we see like mostly the only fouls that actually get called on him are the ones where he is holding the ball, because most of the ones where he kicks the ball and tries to run after it, it's just maybe it's given a foul, but mostly the player just pushes him and he doesn't even get to it, And for Rodrigo, that's a much more efficient way of doing it. I agree with you completely.
See, disclaimer, yeah, like
And
this
it
is
gets
not
you
us.
yellows, not just a foul. It gets you a yellow, which is the important thing.
Yeah, again, disclaimer for the people listening in. Like we are not kind of picking between one or the other, right? Like we are just kind of pointing out how, just like what Doris said, are polar opposites in their approach to the game. What they see in their minds are completely different. It is very needed. Let's just say, like, what if Rodrigo and Vinny were the exact same kind of dribblers? Which, when I was watching our team going through the transition from Cristiano to guys like Vinny and Rodrigo, I was thinking, oh, what if these guys are just the same prototype, just the same kind of players, basically in different bodies. That was my worst fear. What if, like, we spend so much money, and what if they bring the same things to the team? What if they can't complement each other? But thankfully, what we have watched over the last couple of years is that, like, these guys are different and exceptional on each in their own way. Let's just get to the first goal then, which we didn't properly address. Vinicius, man, the way he kind of manages to wriggle past, how many players was it? Like, how are they so petrified? How are they so petrified of a guy that everybody is out there wanting to kill?
It was Camavinga's mistake. I told you, like, what he did
Because I
wasn't
can't
a
recall
good
the
thing.
mistake.
Yeah.
Like, what was the
So
mistake?
yeah, so Vinicius was on the left where he usually is doing his thing, trying to dribble, right? But Camavinga, which is usually a good idea, but if you're a bit further from the goal, so that you can actually make that run, where he just pushes the ball on the left to make a little switch, I guess. But what Camavinga did there wasn't enough space for him to do that, which just drew one or two players towards them. So there was like at least like 4 or 5 players around Vinicius, when it should have been like 3, like it usually is, which it actually helped him because he kept on going and he kept running instead of trying to pass to Camavinga like the defenders were expecting, which actually
So
turned
that
out
was the reason
great.
why all the defenders were kind of in a low block inside their own box without coming
It was
out. Okay.
because Camavinga was running there, which he shouldn't have done, but it actually worked out well because even like the place where he drew them to, it was directly in front of the goal where Vinicius was supposed to shoot, and Vinicius took an extra touch, ran a little bit forward, and just curled it into the right.
That is slowly but surely becoming somewhat of a signature finish for Vinicius, right?
Yeah.
Like, we saw it against Liverpool. We have seen it even last season. I think he scored a similar goal against Shakhtar, if I'm not mistaken. But those kind of finishes are becoming a huge part of the way Vinicius scores, man. I was very impressed, and like, I was also very annoyed by the commentators on ESPN. They were saying Espanyol players are giving this guy too much respect. Like, if someone steps in to actually press Vinicius, or like, try to take the ball off him, he wouldn't have found it so easy to kind of wriggle past in the box and score. To which I found it completely laughable, because if it was that easy, Vinicius wouldn't be one of the best wingers in the world, right? Like, it's not that easy as it sounds. If someone actually goes out
1000%.
of position, if someone actually goes out of position and tries to press Vinicius, they might concede a pen. It's as simple as that. And it doesn't take much to concede a pen against a completely fierce Vinicius, like, running at you. Like, it's not so easy as it seems. I don't know, man. People don't give guys like Vinicius enough credit. It is a pity, but we have come to expect that from Spain this season, man. Like, I've never been a fan of him kind of getting all the attention, but days like this kind of make me feel that our club is blessed, and like, we have players like Vinny, who is kind of getting the job done. Big goal for him. I hope he manages to go and get one further against Liverpool, and it's gonna be a tough game. Like, despite the fact that they lost earlier against Bournemouth, which I found too much joy in. I was I was reading up on their loss, but yeah, man, Vinicius needed a goal. We needed a goal, and A really, really spirit lifting finish from Vinicius. But let's talk about the equalizer. Um, Chouameni. Well, let me ask you this, yeah, Doris. Like when Modric came down after the World Cup, was he giving out free lessons for outside of the boot shots? Outside of the
I'm
boot.
pretty sure he did, and like if you watch on YouTube the videos that that Madrid posts on the official channel, you can see a lot of the times.
No, I was asking you when he actually came down to Croatia after the World Cup, was he giving it to the people as well? Because he's pretty surely giving it in training.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no way.
Well,
No way people are gonna
I tried it in
be so good
training
at
a
it.
few days ago, and it didn't go that well. And I am Croatian, so it didn't work that well. But yeah, obviously our players are trying it more and more and more, and we so far we've seen Vinicius, Camavinga, Chouameni, and Rodrigo do those, especially Vinicius. And I feel like that is something that Vinicius is actually adding to his locker, as they call it, and it's so nice to see our players adopting that skill. And as a lot of people say, managers are not always happy with players doing that, but when you have someone like Luca in your team that can teach you how to do that and do that consistently and actually use that as like a normal thing to do, like not something
Yeah.
special, just do it, just do it not natural.
They make it look so normal,
Yeah,
They make it look so
it has
normal.
to be natural, right?
Vinicius had a brilliant pass to Rodrigo as well, like right after we scored the second goal, if I'm not mistaken, that Rodrigo couldn't connect. But like I've been seeing this occurring so more frequently since last season. It is a pleasant sight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a huge fan of the outside of the boot passes and shots. It looks so fucking pleasing, man. The way Chouameni kind of generated the height, the power, the curve on that ball is really, really good. We are slowly but surely getting to see the passing traits of Chouameni as well. I never thought he was such a brilliant passer of the ball. Maybe it is lightning in a bottle, like it is just a one-off, but I would love to see more of it. Perfectly placed. Like if Militao missed that, oh my god, I would have been pissed because we have been crying out for defenders being goal scorers as well. Like Militao was so perfect in his overall game that goals would actually elevate him to the next level. He scored his best goal scoring season was with Porto in 18-19 with 5 goals. He has already surpassed it in March. Sorry. He has already surpassed that in March with 6 goals. So Doris, talk to me. His goals are going to go a long, long way in us being efficient this season, right? Because we are crying out for goals from set pieces, man. Like we barely score any.
I'm one of the first one that's crying about those, and our team is, sometimes like there have been games where we were absolutely atrocious at the corners and free kicks, like horrible.
Yeah, the corners doesn't even clear the first man, most times.
Those I don't even want to talk about those. Those are it pisses me off.
Kroos
Like
taking
honestly,
every corner after corner.
Like-
Kroos is basically, you know what? Before we play a game of FIFA, we assign the role takers, right? Like we assign short free kick, long free kicks. I think Kroos is assigned on everything. Nobody is gonna change it, unfortunately.
That's funny, yeah, but something like that. And even with Luka, like sometimes we've seen corners where they go for the deep post, and I understand what you're trying to do, but doing that every single time and just maybe one on the far post, I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like it just doesn't work. Maybe not your crossing, which sometimes like we've seen some really bad corners this season, and it's difficult because anything bad that we say about our team always is very dramatized, and everyone takes it to heart, and I feel like it's okay to say that some things are just not working as well as they did, and for Militao to finally, have someone that we can actually expect that they can be at least dangerous in the box, because we have seen Rudiger trying to score and all that, but something about his accuracy is not there, and we've seen him frustrated a lot of the times with himself, and Militao is really a bright spot there, and especially now when we were kind of lacking those goals and the confidence that we had. Militao is definitely helping us on this one, 1000%. And even if he missed that goal, I swear, because Rodrigo was right behind him, and he did try to take the shot, but Militao got to it first. If he touched it and didn't go to Rodrigo, it would have been really, really bad. But thankfully he scored that, and it was a bullet header, unsavable.
Underside of the bar as well.
Unsavable.
Brilliant header. Militao and guys like Rudiger, which you mentioned earlier, like they have been getting on the end of balls into the box and set pieces for large parts, but it was just like you said, the accuracy bit which has been lacking, and I'm so glad Militao has finally found that scoring nick. We need it in tight games. You saw it against Liverpool. He scored the decisive third goal where like the entire backline of Liverpool is sleeping. We need that, like in tight games when nothing seems to go our way. We would need a goal scorer in Militao to step up as well, because I don't see many guys nicking goals for us from set pieces. Like the only exception is maybe Militao and Tchouaméni. Rudiger, just like you said, very wayward, very. The frustrating bit. See, I'm not screaming about my defense much tonight. Despite the fact that we conceded a goal, it's because Rudiger's body language and his chaotic nature doesn't make me feel at peace, man. When watching us defend, it's not natural. It is kind of probably an acquired taste, but for me, I don't like chaotic defenders. I like my defense to be as calm as possible. But that's just me. Ashik in the comments, he says, Doris being modest about her fellow countrymen. I say Luca trained them. Yeah, I've read that far too often. Like the outside of the boot stuff. Like Luca has been giving them after lecture classes. Separate tuitions for the man. But yeah, man. Really good to see. Militao, he also says Militao currently is by far the best centre back in the world. Van Dijk can eat. Beep. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, man. Second half started. We looked boring. Honestly, boring is the word for me. I was kind of drifting in and out of the game because we really struggled to actually string together a few chances. The score line was 2-1, but yet I don't think Espanyol offered anything remotely to worry us. They actually did a big. They actually had a big mistake in the first half, which they should have rectified, which is completely being conservative after taking the lead. You can't do that at the Bernabeu. You can't do that against this Carlos side, who, despite all their flaws, all their shortcomings, they somehow manage just to find a way every single time. And frankly, Espanyol, after that, they never quite recovered, man. They just went into their shells. And eventually, towards the end, Nacho, I have heaped praise after praise for this man. I don't have much else to say about Nacho, but I've said many a times he doesn't drop below 7. Today was a 9. Like he was a 7 for large parts up until that. So many positions he played centre back, then he was moved to left back, and then eventually that run from left back to find the space, wriggle past 3-4 men. in the 90th minute, if I'm not mistaken, 90th minute, uh, put a perfect pass on the plate for Asensio, who buries the goal. How underrated can a man be? Like, I'm so glad that finally other fans are kind of latching upon to this Nacho recognition parade, because we were all huge fans of him for many years now. But honestly, like, in my opinion, I feel very, very happy that finally rival fans and people who don't even watch La Liga much are kind of respecting what Nacho does. Do you find surprising? Do you find it surprising? Do you find it surprising that people who just watch us in the Champions League find Nacho to be a leader, an intimidating figure? You know.
I mean, just look at Casemiro and the praise that he's getting in the Premier League. I'm not saying that he's played bad or anything like that. I'm just saying, people usually seem to look at our players only when, like you said, when we're playing in the Champions League or they move to a different league or, the Premier League. So, yeah, Nacho has always been underrated. And we know the way he plays. He's usually a much more, you know, uh, pessimistic, as we call him, defender. He's not really that offensive, and then he does something like this, and this hasn't been the first time that he's made runs like this. We've seen him a couple of times this season making really, really, really good runs, which is something I wouldn't say new for him, but it is something that he's really started using a lot more, and we've seen a lot more of his pace and all that. And Nacho is the kind of player that we all knew what he is and what he can do. He's just our one of our safest players. You can always expect Nacho to have at least a decent game, and if it goes badly, it's usually not because of him. It usually because of the team is playing badly or the whole defense, but it's very
Yeah,
rarely his individual effort or mistakes.
that's the funny bit, like, if I kind of pinpoint and try to pick out a mistake that Nacho did, I may have to reduce it under like maybe two or three. That's it. And that's more often than not anticipating a tackle wrong. That's the extent of what Nacho does wrong. So this guy is faultless for large parts. For someone who plays so less, to be so consistent, be such a team guy, put the team above him, and be a role model is absolutely fantastic, man. Like, teams would die to have guys like Nacho. Guys like Nacho, guys like Lucas Vasquez, they are what make all the great teams stick. If we didn't have guys like them, like, we would have struggled, really struggled. Like, I'm pretty sure spending 50 million, 100 million is not going to fill a void the size of Nacho, the size of
Never,
Lucas Vasquez.
never.
So
And
money isn't everything. Yeah.
what I say almost every podcast, we have to respect him even more. He's Spanish. He loves the club that he's in. He wouldn't be here if so long if he didn't. He is our vice captain. He has a big role in this team, and I think a lot of us are actually scared that he could leave because he does deserve to leave. I mean, Varane did it. Nacho
Yeah.
doesn't have or he didn't have the kind of position in the first 11 or the starting lineup most of the years or all of the years. So it's not really a good comparison there, but he still has every right to do that, right? And he is probably one of the biggest players in our team that I think it would just really, really suck to lose him. And we still have him for, or we could have him for a few more years, and having
I'm
Nacho
pretty
for a few
sure.
more
I'm
years.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure his recent involvement and his very expected subsequent involvement, like, towards the latter parts of the season, is gonna surely make him change his mind, because it's only a matter of time. Early parts of the season, Rudiger was kind of given emphasis, because he was a new signing and whatnot. The board, the team, there was pressure to embed in Rudiger way quicker. So that might have raised eyebrows, especially Nacho's eyebrows regarding his future. But at this point in time, I'm pretty sure he feels at home. Just the way he responded in the post match, he says, "The fans gave me goosebumps when I heard them chant my name." The Bernabeu chanting your name is a very special thing, man. And
Nacho, right?
yeah, and Nacho surely is going to have a change of heart. The club is seeing, man. I'm pretty sure the club and the board is keenly watching how Nacho is just going about his business without much of a fuss, putting in banger performances most of the time, man. Um, but yeah, let's get into some of the comments. Ashik says Nacho, man, quintessential Madridista. He exemplifies everything about what it means to be a Fabrica product and a Real Madrid player. Facts. He is basically what a captain should be. He is basically, just like you said, the embodiment of our values and what this great club stands for. Um, Simon Karombe in the chat, he says, the guys are playing very well, but we need consistency so that we collect maximum points in all league games. Yeah, facts. Beginning with next week's League Clasico away at the new camp, it's gonna be a wild ride until now at the end of the season. Big games coming up thick and fast. We got no time to even ponder about how we're gonna approach games. I'm pretty sure there won't be any major tactical tweaks in our system, and it's gonna be just game management experience and mental fortitude that's gonna see us out. Ashik says, Graham, the stupid hack Sunis called Casemiro a steady Eddie. I heard that. Oh my God, this man, this man is an absolute lunatic. Sunis is an idiot, and he is bent on justifying why he is an idiot. I completely agree. You know what? Like some guys, they just have their opinion, man. Like we can't drill it into someone that someone is good. And his team also bet them 7-0 with Casemiro being a starter playing the full 90. So it is just the way it is, like sometimes we can't really explain why people come up with such conclusions. Also, just a random channel in the comments, he says, to be honest, Vinicius should be more focused on his football rather than wasting his time talking and complaining to the ref. We have been saying that a lot on this podcast over the last month or so. And I also mentioned about it on the beginning of this very podcast about how he should be the Zinedine Zidane and not Bruno Fernandes, in being nasty, basically. Also, Simon, he says players like Hazard must be offloaded, find new blood. Mbappe can be a good replacement, but the guy's too proud of himself. Well, Hazard is gone, man. He's gone. He's just collecting his paycheck, sightseeing in Madrid, and he'll be off in the summer, hopefully. But Mbappe, we can keep his ego in check. If any club can keep a guy like Mbappe's ego in check, it'll be us, man. Let's be honest. He'll be grounded with us. It won't be like PSG. I'll guarantee you that.
We just
Ashik also
have to
says,
be honest that we just don't have anywhere to play him. We don't. We have Vinicius. We would have Mbappe and Rodrigo
let's
for next
see.
season, maybe with Karim. But are you gonna bench Vinicius, or are you gonna force
We'll have
Mbappe to play on the right?
he can do a job on the right, and he has done it before.
But
He is
he doesn't want
excellent.
to. If that's something that he wanted, like even
It's only a matter of see. Put this into perspective, Doris. Mbappe and Benzema are the best of friends. Mbappe looks up to Benzema. Let's be honest, right? Like he is kind of the torchbearer for exceptional French strikers performing at big clubs. So Mbappe would have that decision in mind. Okay, Benzema maybe has 1 or 2 seasons at the max. I could have the pleasure of playing alongside him, even if it's a right wing role. Come on, man. Even if it's a right winger
did you not
role,
see it this season? That's the same player that's playing with Messi and Neymar that complained on Instagram for not playing his
See,
position.
that's what I'm telling you. PSG is a different institution. He is the sporting director, right? It'll be a completely different scenario with us.
Look, I'm hopeful for him. I understand what you want to say, but we would have an overload of right-footed left wingers, and I really want him to join. But if I personally had to
See,
choose between
I'm telling you
Vinicius
who
and Mbappe, I
we are
don't
not
think
going to
that's
be
much of
choosing
a.
between Vinicius. We are going to be choosing between who we are gonna attract in the summer. We will have a lot of options. But
I'm
I'm telling you,
hopeful. I'm hopeful. I just
so many
think
good
that.
guys like Nkunku are gone to Chelsea. Like, do we really want Vlahovic? Not a huge fan. Is he bad? No. But is he Real Madrid good? Yet to see. But Mbappe, he's a generational talent. You fit him in.
Even with this, if Vinicius got injured, Rodrigo finally has a chance to play on his natural side, and then he will have Kylian there, which we would basically lose Rodrigo, and I bet you we will have
See,
to sell
I'm
him,
telling you,
one
it's a
thousand
60
percent.
game, it's a
They just
60 game season. Wake up, Doris. It's a 60 game season.
You're
Nobody's
pretending
going to be
like we would
starting.
actually have a perfect spot to use him. I disagree with that. It's just an opinion. I
Fair
guess
enough.
that's we could talk about this some other time. I disagree that
I just don't get the fact that you would like let Mbappe slide
I'm not
just
saying
because we don't have
I'm not
space to
saying
accommodate him.
that. That's what I'm saying. I'm hopeful that he comes. I'm just being realistic about
Oh, so
what his place in this team would be. It would be crazy to let him go. But if you look at it, we will have three players that really want to play on that side, and really know how to play. They are really good on the left side. We're actually
Mbappe,
downgrading our
whenever I've
players.
seen Mbappe, whenever I've seen him play on the right wing, he has done a job, very good job. He's very
No one is
two-footed.
doubting him. It's Mbappe. He
Even
can play
Rodrigo can
anywhere.
be good, So for the sake of the team, even brilliant, even greater players than Mbappe has taken a hit. So that better players, not better players exactly, but players that fit a system better can be put into their favored positions, and you kind of facilitate them. That doesn't mean it nullifies Mbappe, nullifies us. It just makes us much more improved than this year or the year before. Let's be honest. I just hope Mbappe doesn't think like you did and think like what I expect him to think. It'll be a great opportunity to play with Benzema, and they can all interchange. Vinicius, Benzema, and Mbappe can clearly interchange positions, and
I hope
and
so. I don't want us
like
to miss
see
on Mbappe.
the great Mourinho side that scored the record goals, scored the record points to win La Liga during the time of the greatest Barcelona side in history, played a front three that was so fucking interchangeable that Cristiano was playing striker, Benzema was playing left wing, Ozil was playing down the middle sometimes. So I'm telling you, these guys can make it work. It's so much talent on display. It's not gonna go wrong. You can't make something like that go wrong unless you're fucking Andres Villas, Boas, or Nuno Espirito Santo, something like that. Carlo Ancelotti with this squad can do wonders. I'm telling you. But let's just go through some of the comments. Um, Ashik says Nacho and Vasquez bleed for the badge, not for the name on the back. Facts. It is just a thing, man. You see on the tin, like you need to open the tin to find out what is in it. Nacho and Vasquez are just as they appear on the label. They are perfect one club men. Simon Karembe also says, Vinny, you are fantastic on the ball, but sometimes you need to pass the ball and not press on even where and when it's almost impossible. Yeah, I've had a few incidents where I've written it down. Vinicius has the tendency to dribble past to attempt to dribble past three or four men like a full fucking army. When he clearly doesn't need to do that, just pass the ball sideways and you recycle and you restart. Hopefully, when we get to games of much higher stakes, the pressure would eventually make him take better decisions. I'm pretty sure, which was on show last season. Especially the knockout stages, you could clearly see Vinicius wasn't so wasteful, with his actions. Hopefully, that's the case this season as well. Because we all know once the Champions League anthem blares, like it's different settings. Just a random channel again. He says, I don't want Ancelotti preparing before matches, but we almost sleep for 45 minutes. After conceding, we wake up and then we start playing our game. Yeah, that's a constant theme, man, recurring theme with Carlos teams. It takes a while for us to kind of wake up. It is worrying, but it is what comes with Carlo and the system he deploys, which isn't the best. Let's be honest. He also says, and Liverpool will hurt us if we continue like this. Be comfortable from the start of the game. Need more focus from the start. Absolutely. We can't concede first. I'm telling you, no chance we concede first. Because if we concede first, there is pressure. And when there is pressure, you never know what happens, man. Like, great players crumble under pressure. Like, even if you're super experienced, you never know. Champions League knockout ties, just the way things went all our way last season, it could be otherwise. You never know. 90 minutes, anything can happen. Tarun Kumar, good to see you, man. He says Real Madrid procrastinate and then suddenly wakes up. Facts. Yeah, they're just like your average high school student. Just like me when I was younger, like we'll attack tomorrow, we'll attack the day after, we'll attack right before the alarms goes off. It is the nature in which we operate, unfortunately. But these guys get away with it, so it is a habitual thing, man. If they start getting away with it so often, it's human tendency. Vlahovic, he also says Vlahovic is white Lakaka. That's a very good way to put it, I guess. But I'm pretty sure he's a bit more lethal than Lakaka or Lukaku. I follow Syria. He's an awful passer of the ball and fast down. And fast touch is also poor. I guess that's what he means. We need a baller striker. Yeah, man. Like people have been saying Gonzalo Ramos and whatnot for Benfica. He is a top goal scorer in the Portuguese league and whatnot. 100 million for a 21-year-old. I don't know, man. I don't know if we can operate like that. But yeah, like good link-up strikers and whatnot. Like it's not an easy acquisition. Like I don't think anybody is as good as Benzema on his heyday. People like Gonzalo Ramos is a good shout. Like even Osimhen, like who has been tearing up in Syria, it's not a striker like Benzema. Like yes, he can link up and whatnot, but so it's not as silky, So in my opinion, it's a dying breed. Like you don't have those kind of strikers no more. He also says, just a random channel. He says, I still don't know who will replace Benzema if Mbappe does not arrive.
Haaland, Haaland, dun, 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 dun. I think we know the answer to that.
Even with Haaland, there have been very optimistic news. Like I don't know how legit it is, but it's been saying the same thing that maybe in 2024, 2025 we might move in for him. He has a release clause which is hefty, but if we pay it, we can get him. And even from people who know Haaland up close and personal, they have said that Haaland, yes, he has an attachment to City, but he doesn't see himself playing for City for more than 2 years, which is good news for us. Let's be honest. Haaland and Mbappe in the same team. Let's dream. Let's just dream at this point. Yeah, just random channel again says we are winning the Copa del Rey. Oh, for the youth
Don't
side.
read the last part. Don't read the person. Yeah, just the first part.
Okay.
Read the first part.
Yeah, I hope the first part becomes true because right after the international break, I think we play Valladolid, and then 3 days later it is the El Clasico second leg at the new camp again. Yeah, man, it's gonna be wild. Honestly, I'm not ready. I still am in that lull phase of the season that I still can't get my body and mind to adjust to the high stake games. Like it's It feels like the World Cup has kind of taken off the ritualistic approach to stuff, because naturally this time around last year I was shitting my pants, like literally, like I was petrified about what is going to happen during the season. But this time around, the narrative, the schedule is completely flipped. um, let's look into some of the post-match comments quickly before we wrap this up. Ancelotti said, Espanyol goal didn't affect us. We were confident. Yeah, yeah. I also read that when asked about the noise surrounding the club and the performances, he said, the drizzle, apparently that's what they refer to, the drizzle didn't affect him as much. It's all noise. Like he said, he knows what's at stake, what these players can do. So he's appearing very calm, man. Remember, like during some of the post matches earlier, we were getting mad about how these guys were saying PR statements that we played well and whatnot. Um, but apparently, like everybody is calm. I love to see that, but come on, man. On days when we have a very poor outing, I would just expect a little more honesty. Like, is that too much to ask, Doris? That's my question.
I don't know. It is something that obviously would affect the team if they spoke badly about the way they playing, and I guess uh, they know each other. They know what works for them, and I don't think we should look into it that much. They're just saying what they're supposed to say. Like
No, I completely
behind
understand.
the
I
scenes,
completely understand.
I'm sure, like in the locker
They're
room,
frustrated.
it's completely different. So I wouldn't really look into that, especially for Ancelotti. He is
It is
a
just,
manager, you know.
yeah, for sure. It is just that, like, during bad days, when you come on for the post match and then you see shit like that, it makes you just flip. It
I
just
know.
happens.
I wish
And I
I
don't mean,
had their tranquility, I guess, or their zen after the game.
absolutely. I think it's just me who is so hyperactive or like super frustrated and going loco. Like so many of my friends have very calm approaches to bad days at our club, man.
No, it's not
Um,
just you. No, don't take it. I wouldn't say that you get angry after the games. No, if anyone's seen you here, they wouldn't associate that with you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Just to run the channel again says Liverpool lost to Bournemouth. Yeah, man, I was alluding to that earlier. It's so funny watching the world's best defender get skinned. Like honestly, yeah, like it brings such joy that I can't put into words. Honestly, like when I watch Liverpool play shit and lose away to a team that was 20th when the game kicked off. Now they're, I think, 16, Bournemouth, in the table. But it's so fucking funny, man. All this arrogance, Klopp, Cop, Anfield. Oh my god. Anyway, he also says Lord Mariano, man, he is just there for food and traveling around Europe. Let's not get into Mariano's slander. He wasn't even in the picture tonight. He also says, "What do you guys think about Kvaratskhelia?" Well, well, well. If Nodo is listening in, he would be super happy. Kvaratskhelia is a very, very interesting prospect, man. So physical for a winger, extremely composed. I also must add, very two-footed as well. Might not have the best weak foot in the world, but is very, very handy with both feet. Um, Brilliant in the air as well. Can contest headers. His crossing range, passing range is very, very good. Player of the month in Serie A as well. Madrid too. So yeah, man, like I'm pretty sure he would lean in for a move sometime in the next 2 to 3 years. But the question is the price tag. The guy who owns Napoli is like, some people refer to him as the Italian Daniel Levy. Like it's very hard to deal with him. So I don't see him making it to us unless we pay north of 80 million. And I don't think we're going to pay 80 million for a left winger, Doris. Now, the left winger, you reckon?
I cannot with even entertain that idea. And for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure I've seen multiple articles linking him to Barcelona, which is a whole different topic of them actually getting those players. But he was actually linked with them, and just a random channel said that he is apparently a Madrid fan and a CR7 fan, but I read the exact opposite of that. So
What? No, 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 no. Kvaratskhelia is a Real Madrid fan. I'll tell you that.
I
It's a
read
fact.
the opposite of that, which is interesting,
From
you
what
know.
I've read, like he is a Real Madrid fan and a huge Madridista ever since he was young. So I don't know about that, but yeah, with the plethora of left wingers we have, I don't see it happening unless he kind of somehow plays center striker, center forward, or something of that sort. He's going to be expensive, man, especially after them winning Serie A this season. He's not going to be easy to get off the books of Napoli. Um, a few more comments. Ashik says, loser fool ain't gonna win anything at the Bernabeu if they already got schooled in football at Anfield. Just a random channel, he says he's apparently a Real Madrid fan. Guti and Cristiano fan. Super nice. Guti. He's a purist. I like that. Anything else? Farouk is in the comments. He says, Guti is Quara's idol, actually. Well. Interesting. I hope that's the case. And, well, if someone is a huge fan, he would end up eventually in a club, man. Like, if he's actually good enough, which I think he is, and if he's consistent enough for the next 2-3 years, like he's bound to wear this camiseta. It's only a matter of time. Tarun Kumar says, Quara said that his father is a Barca fan, but his heart beats for Real Madrid only.
Yeah, and that's what I read, but I forgot the last part. I remember that his family was Barcelona fans, so yeah, that's where it came from.
Fair enough. Quickly, some post-match comments. Yeah, he was asked about Chouameni. He said he lost some balls, but he's very good. It wasn't an easy game for him today. He prefers another type of game. Well, see, I wish my dad was like this. Like he could clearly make crazy excuses for Chouameni. Carlo is a proper man. Like the way he defends his players. It's sometimes very refreshing to see. He says we have been very fast in attack today. That's why we have had more chances to score. Yeah, facts, man. The opening 15-20 minutes, we were so lethargic, so zombie-like in moving the ball. It was so predictable. Like the only way, like people know, left-hand side is our only way out. So they know what is coming, right? The only way to kind of make it less predictable is to accelerate the way we move the ball. We run into positions and whatnot. Until that happens, we look like a League One side, Doris. A League One side, Until we kind of speed up things, it's baffling. It's baffling.
I agree with you, and that's something we've seen even last season, and it's not something in general that we haven't seen Madrid do over the years. Like that's not something new. But yeah, it's definitely more prominent this season, 1000%.
He also said, I have asked the referee for an explanation for Vinicius' yellow card. He told me that it was a persistent grab. Come on, man. The referees are a joke. Vinicius also said, like I don't want the referee to not give me an yellow card, but he should be consistent. He should be blowing out other fouls as well. Just be consistent with the thing, man. But I guess that's pretty much it with the post-match comments. Quickly, one last thing, Doris. We can't leave this post-match without addressing it. But I've been kind of blocking myself and kind of, like putting my earplugs on to kind of, cancel out all the Barca um, allegations and whatnot. The fact that they asked for VAR officials thingy and whatnot. Like, I don't want to even get into it. But since our club actually put out a club statement that like maybe there is a chance we might actually be in a role of kind of a private prosecutor against Barcelona, and apparently we're going to cut all ties, if any, with Barcelona and whatnot. It is huge. It is something Perez didn't want to do, especially with the European Super League, brotherhood and whatnot. Apparently, it is serious allegations. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, they are serious, and we all know, like in the recent few years, our relationship with Barcelona has obviously improved, and a lot of the European clubs and leagues usually see us as one. Two clubs from Spain that mostly want the same things regarding the Super League and all that, and it's gonna hurt both of those teams. Like our relationship was actually, helping us financially and monetarily, obviously, and us, always being on top, going for cups, even in America and in Saudi Arabia. Like, a lot of us don't agree with that, but it was something that was bringing us money. Even the Copa that we play at the beginning of the season in the Saudi Arabia. So obviously it's gonna hurt us a lot, and that is money that everyone can always use. But from the articles that I've seen, I think that the court in Barcelona actually found them guilty. They just haven't, given them a sentence or a fine yet. But they did already find them guilty of it, and I think they broke those news yesterday or the day before. So we already know that it happened, but I guess we'll just see how it will affect us, because this is
I don't
not
think
only affecting them, definitely.
I don't think they'll be handed out any sentences, man. Because from what I read before, the court gave out its verdict, before all this kind of became official. What I heard was they're not gonna punish them because the time frame is past it and whatnot. Like, since it has been like
And
over 5 years.
also, I read that Madrid stated that they wouldn't be pushing for any punishment for Barcelona. So I guess we're just waiting to see how it plays out, and not, inject our opinion into it.
See, this is the thing, this is the thing with media, the world, the perception of football fans, the perception of casual fans, you name it, the perception of sports as a whole, right? Barcelona, for so many years, are the baby child of football purists, people who see football more as more than a game and whatnot. Imagine if it was us, the amount of backlash we would have gotten, the amount of scrutiny we would have gotten, the amount of times they would bring up our Champions League titles and whatnot. Look what Barcelona did. Nobody bats an eye. Why is there so less of a commotion when it's Barcelona? When the roles are reversed, we get put under so much unnecessary drama. But Barcelona, oh, it's expected. Oh, they can cheat.
I
They
said
can bribe
that, like,
officials.
and you do actually share my opinion on that, because if this was us having this subject of allegations and stuff about cheating with referees, we would be cooked, man. Everyone would cook us, and I don't think it's fair, because it is a bit, hypocritical from most of the fans, because it is Barcelona, and I don't know if you've seen the TV show with Piqué and Casillas, but Casillas did get on Piqué's back for not getting a single penalty kick in 2 years. And I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I
saw
saw the
that
clip.
video, yeah, but
I saw the
that
clip. I
is
saw the
like
clip.
a really, really big argument in that question, you know.
These guys are blatant lies, blatant cheaters, man. The look on PK's face tells it all. These guys, they know what they're doing. But I'm not gonna be rubbing it in my, Barca mates' faces and whatnot. Like honestly, I'm not a guy to go around the football dealing with shit like this. Yes, if you did that, yeah, you're a pussy. But like I wouldn't bring that into the conversation. If they won La Liga with unfair means, it's on them. It's gonna leave a stain on their future generation as well. Let's be honest, like it's not just something that happened in the past. The past is what defines your future, especially if you're a football club and one of the biggest football clubs, the most widely supported clubs in the world. It's gonna surely leave a stain on Barcelona, and unfortunately, as much as we like Barcelona to be in the mud, it leaves a stain on La Liga as a league. Their
Exactly.
their 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 efficiency and their like policies, man, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up just for the sake of it. I'm pretty sure none of us would actually care, apart from a few Twitter warriors I saw earlier on their keyboards. We just go about our own business, man. If they have cheated this season as well, eventually it'll come out and we can look back upon it then. At this point in time, I don't think Barcelona is going to get punished. Barcelona and Real Madrid are basically the holy cows, that La Liga, Javier Tebas, and all of those guys milk. We are their cash cows. Like we wouldn't be getting the backlash, but like from the general public in Spain, the sympathy towards Barcelona has always rubbed me the wrong way. But it is what it is. It is what it is. A few more of the comments before we finally go. An interesting question. Just a random channel, he said earlier, bring some new players in fullback, please, especially right back. I was discussing this with the guys earlier. I don't see Carvajal getting replaced, and at best, it would be Vinicius Topias getting a call up. And I've been hearing that, like although he is a very good attacking right back, he might not be defensively. But he's only 19, 20, like he can still mature up and whatnot. But I don't think the
Yeah.
club is going to prioritize fullbacks, man, this season. Um,
I watched the Casillas game against Salzburg, I think, and Vinicius Tobias wasn't really performing that well, and that entire game really wasn't really his best game. But and it really sucks if that's one of the only times you actually get to watch that player, because now I have a bad feeling about him, but I'm sure he's a good player. He's really
he's
young.
a talent. He's a talent. Just rough around the edges, like hopefully he comes through well. Just a random channel also was asking earlier, how did Chouameni play? I didn't watch the game. Chouameni was okay, man.
He assisted.
Yeah,
He assisted. He did
but I
lose the
expect so
ball
much.
once, which resulted in them scoring a goal. But it was a 50-50 challenge on him. You could say that it wasn't a foul, but you can only live with it. And I would say that he made up for it with his game afterwards. He played up, I would say, pretty good. Even though Chouameni, as we were really hyped when Chouameni was joining us. After Casemiro, we felt like we will finally get someone to replace someone immediately, not not have a season where you need to take baby steps, I guess. And he did start a bit slow. I mean, it is his first season with us, but all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the way he's playing.
Yeah, I've been a huge defender of Chouameni as well. Even when he had off games, I used to bring up this very same point that you made. It's his first year. Hopefully, his sophomore year will be much more better. But it should be expected. He's still young. He's still kind of adapting to the league, adapting to the way we operate and whatnot. He is vital, man. We need him. We need him fit. We need him in that sitting role for us to flourish. But tonight, I would slightly differ from your verdict. I wasn't very pleased. I was happy that he got the brilliant assist and whatnot, but still, I would expect a lot more defensive work from Chouameni, man. He's supposed to be the Casemiro uh, replacement.
Yeah, but
Like,
he isn't really playing, exactly just that
yeah,
position when he's sharing
I know,
his position with Tony, and
I know,
he
I know.
does have, he needs to start playing that position completely alone, develop his defensive skills and evolve into a good midfielder. He already is, but having all those, set up exactly in place when you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Right now, he just feels, like he's not confident. But you can see that he has class and skill. Like it's very obvious.
Oh, for
I
sure.
feel like it's just confidence. Like the mistakes that he does are usually where he just panics, or he's stressed out, but most of the time he's playing really well. Like I wouldn't say that he's even mediocre. I would say he's okay. He's good, not amazing, incredible, not Kase, but
It would
he's
take time.
good. It will take time.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
would take time. It would take
it will
time.
take time.
If we actually end up this season on a good note, like I'm telling you, just like how Kamavinga kind of had the test of fire and he came out good on the other side last season, was because we did very well and he played very crucial roles in that. And I'm telling you, if Chouameni gets to be in situations that Kamavinga was last year, he will have a much bigger impact because he's starting, right? He's starting
Yep.
the game. He is the starting CTM. So yeah, man, it's only a matter of time. Hopefully, Liverpool is the start on Wednesday. Um, one final thing, Ashik Ashik was asking, did you guys wish Don Florentino a happy birthday yesterday? Um, we didn't. If you have been paying attention to our social media, it has been kind of dead because I haven't been in the mood to be actually making edits and whatnot because our season has been so on and off, so frustrating for the last couple of months ever since post World Cup. So my heart wasn't really there in it. So if you see like a large number of posts and whatnot, it means that we are all in a good mood. If you don't see much action, it's because it's a reflection of how we feel, man. Honestly, I don't have anything to be that excited at this moment in time. Hopefully, but belated birthday wishes to the Don, man. Honestly, he is the reason why we are all here. He is the reason why we are still competing in all the competitions. Like won the league and the Champions League double last year. Questions can be asked about his recruitment policy. And whatnot. But whatever he does, he has a golden touch to it, man. Like he has a Midas touch to the way he moves. So yeah, man, big up Flo Perez. Hopefully next year we can thank him even more for some big signings. Mbappe, that's what I expect. That's what I hope happens, especially since PSG got dumped out. Again, yeah, PSG was funny watching it. Loved it. Messi, best player in the world. Where was he? Where was he? I don't know if you saw the game, Doris, but man was the worst player on the pitch. So much hype for a walking merchant. Let's just call it that.
Who? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Messi,
Oh,
Messi,
Messi.
Messi.
Oh. Missing. Yeah. I mean, it is a tough topic and it's a very controversial topic that I feel like no one would really allow us to even voice our opinions because it always sounds biased. But I just feel like other people are biased and not us because
Yeah,
I have no problem saying that he is
yeah,
the
me
best
neither.
player. He's incredible, but you cannot tell me that he's having a good season. Like, I will walk off right now if you call this a good season. And even last one, twice in a row, you get knocked out of the round of 16. You did nothing, dude. Nothing. And I would say, like, in the game that they played against Bayern, like, Messi, like, anytime he would get the ball, players would be afraid of him. Like, what is he gonna do? But that's mostly what we see from him now. He's not the player that he used to be, and for his output, I would say that if Cristiano scored the amount of goals and all that Messi does right now, he will be cooked, and he already was, And like I said, it just sounds biased when it's coming from us. I'm just trying to be realistic about him. Like, I have no problem saying that he's better, he's good, he's
I
the best,
completely agree.
all that. But
I
come
had no
on.
problem. I had no problem admitting that he was the best. Yeah, well, let's be honest. I had a little problem, especially when I was younger, during the Mourinho days, to accept that he was better than Cristiano. But like after way after all of that, like I've completely admitted that he is the better player. He is the absolute GOAT, especially after winning the World Cup. Like, I have to concede defeat. But this is the reason why I prefer Cristiano's mentality, Cristiano's clutchness. If it was Cristiano instead of Messi, I'm telling you, it would have been a different story. You saw Ramos being their best player. He had two brilliant chances, where he had a just wide. I was so happy for him. So happy for Capitano to be actually back and playing at his optimal best, man. But yeah, man, his team did him no favors, unfortunately. Funny watching oil clubs crumble. I'm all for it. Bring more of it, honestly. I'm gonna binge watch it if I can. But I guess that kind of brings our post match to a wrap. Look out for the Liverpool preview, hopefully on Monday. It'll be a big game on Wednesday. We can't take anything for granted. 3-goal lead, but we'll need to score at least a couple more to ease out any sort of nerves. Thanks for all of you guys who were engaging in the comments and was tuning in. Don't forget to smash the like on the way out. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the subscribe button as well. Turn on notification bells on. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the thing as much as possible, man, because we are on the road to 1K. We hopefully will be getting to it before the end of the season. That is the objective. It would mean a lot. Also, for people who actually wants to listen to us on the go, don't forget we are available on all major audio platforms. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, you name it. So do check them out. And also, give us a follow on our socials on Twitter and Instagram. And do check out our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They run a brilliant fan page. The link is in the description below. So until next time, Ala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.